At 2 in the morning, Louis Beans blasted job applications at anything with a salary. A week later, an FBI email invited him to an information session. Louis sat bolt upright and called Frank. "I got recruited," Frank answered. "You absolutely are not." Louis smiled. "They do not invite losers." By Friday, Louis believed his life had changed. He entered the federal building in sunglasses, carrying the email like secret clearance, and asked the front desk, "Where do I get my gun?" The guard froze, read the page, and sent him to a conference room, where a tired agent delivered a slideshow Louis mistook for onboarding. That night, Agent Beans was born. Louis ordered aviators, a black notebook, and a cheap earpiece. He wore it at breakfast, whispered in restaurants, and answered questions like he was under surveillance. At Chili's, when a server offered chips, Louis touched the earpiece and murmured, "We got a situation." Frank sighed. "We are at Chili's." Soon Louis saw plots everywhere. Slow coffee stirring was suspicious. A mailman doing his route was extremely suspicious. His notebook filled with lines like potential operative and possible code phrase. "Have a nice day." Frank flipped through the pages, stared at him, and said, "You are profiling errands." Louis took that as proof he needed an active case. Louis picked a random man outside a grocery store and tailed him across town. Toothpaste became personal hygiene cover. Gas became vehicle prep. Dry cleaning became evidence of something larger. Frank, dragged behind him, kept repeating the obvious. When the man entered a bank, Louis whispered, "It is happening." Inside the bank, Louis hid behind a tall potted plant, notebook ready, leaves bent across his face. The man simply waited in line and handed over a check. Normal bank activity. Louis squinted harder. Classic misdirection. Frank stood by the door, already collapsing with silent laughter before the disaster even began. Then Louis sprang up, tipped the plant, spilled dirt everywhere, and shouted, "Freeze!" The bank went silent. The man blinked. "I am depositing a check." Louis leaned in. "That is what you want us to think." The alarm sounded. Police arrived. Asked who he was, Louis tried, "Federal." Then, weaker, "Federal adjacent." The same FBI agent arrived, looked at Louis, and said, "You do not work for us." It was a slideshow. Escorted outside, Louis stood with crooked sunglasses and dirt on his shoe. Frank asked what they learned. Louis sipped water and said, "The system was not ready for me.